We've got a lot of vegetables, soup, some cereal, hot cereal.
Deborah Metcher is stocking up on extra supplies of food. Georgie Rentz is checking what medicine she has on hand.
Dried beans.
Suzanne Garner and her husband are making an emergency plan.
Let's go, folks, let's go, let's go, let's go!
Schools are going through their emergency procedure checklists. Why? This microscopic bug, the bird flu virus. Several times over the last century, viruses like this one have mutated, creating new viruses that spread among humans, leaving thousands dead and whole societies disrupted. We don't know when it's coming, or how bad it might be. But across the country, health professionals agree that a flu pandemic is a real possibility, and parents are taking note.
I take it very seriously. As a mom, I think one of our most important jobs is to ensure the health of our kids.
I just think that I wouldn't want to take the chance with something like this, where the possibility of a loss of life was involved.
In a pandemic, the biggest risk for getting flu is close contact with infected persons. So, community and health officials may require the temporary closing of facilities where large groups of people gather, including schools. How can families and communities prepare for such an event? The Centers for Disease Control, along with the Department of Education, offer basic advice. Tip number 1, communicate with your child's school.
I think they should ask the schools, does the school have a plan for pandemic influenza? What is the plan?
Will they plan to close? When will they plan to close? How will they plan to communicate with parents?
Schools may use any number of ways to send out an emergency communication to parents. Text and email messages, letters, the school website, or just good old-fashioned phone calls.
Hello?
There's an emergency contact list that's required of every student that's registered here. And we'll go down that list until we contact a person, a live person.
Still, many schools will continue to teach.
Through the cable access channel, the education channel, we would have lesson plans, at least exposure to education through that access. And on the website, we have developed common syllabi for each of our grade levels and each of the subject areas at the grade levels.
Parents have to be ready now.
They need to be thinking about now, how could they access technology? We're going to have to rely a lot on technology to have a virtual education system.
Children at home for weeks, it's something that parents need to prepare for. Tip number 2, make a family plan and rehearse it.
Family plan, for instance, would include what you're going to do if your children need to stay home from school.
In the event of a pandemic, families need to decide where to contact or find each other if traditional lines of communication break down, what to do about child care if the parent needs to be gone for a length of time, and rules if, when, or where children could go if they did leave the house. Of course, being at home also means you'll need plenty of supplies. Tip number 3, stock up on essential supplies.
Food, water, medicine, and what you need for your individual family might be different from what the general public needs.
In fact, Deborah Metcher estimates that she already has enough to last her family 4 weeks. Suzanne Garner is getting ready as well.
It's something that you don't want to be caught unprepared for.
During a time, if people are nervous or they're scared, that certain things we can run out of essential goods.
Experts recommend parents have enough supplies to last at least 2 weeks.
So as a family, you need to evaluate what types of things you normally use and how much of it you normally use.
Preparing for a pandemic also means doing what you can to prevent yourself or your children from being infected by seasonal flu, colds, or a pandemic. Tip number 4, practice good hygiene.
They should practice good hand hygiene, wash their hands regularly after sneezing, after coughing, after blowing their nose. And they should do that by vigorously rubbing their hands together for at least 20 seconds, or if it's a young child, maybe as long as they can say their ABCs for.
It is all those basic rules of hygiene we've heard since preschool, but many children admit they need to be reminded.
Well, I could wash my hands after I'm in the bathroom more, because sometimes I just get distracted and forget. But usually I usually do wash my hands and when I cough and go to the bathroom.
And parents need to model this behavior. The prospect of a flu pandemic is scary for parents and their children to even consider, but now is the time to prepare.
And rather than sitting around and worrying about it and dwelling on it, just get yourself ready the best you can.